After learning that my wife's first love was terminally ill, my wife aborted our child. She wanted to free up her womb to have a baby for her first love. We can still have another child in the future, but he's dying. I want to help him leave an heir, although the child isn't his. You're still my wife. She thought I would still tolerate her endlessly, as before. However, I said, since you love him so much, you might as well go and be buried with him. The moment I said this, the air seemed to freeze instantly. My wife Sophia looked at me with red eyes full of disappointment. I just had an abortion, and you're here to provoke me. Thomas, how have you become such a selfish person? Selfish. I was the one whose fingers were pinching the abortion report, which turned red. That was the child we had longed for so much. The child we had conceived with so much hardship. She had it aborted so easily, and I, as the father, was kept in the dark. Perhaps seeing that I didn't look well, Sophia surprisingly softened her tone to comfort me. It's just a bunch of unformed embryos, not really a child yet, I sneered. So, in her eyes, it was just a bunch of unformed embryos. In the end, it was because she didn't love this child. Let's get a divorce. This was the first time I took the initiative to mention divorce. Sophia didn't expect me to say that, and a flash of surprise appeared in her eyes, but it was quickly replaced by mockery. Thomas, don't you dare regret it. Don't come begging me like a dog later. I crumpled the abortion report into a ball and threw it into the trash can beside me. Then I left without looking back, completely ignoring Sophia's sarcastic remarks behind me. She could be so domineering and overbearing. It was also because I had been compromising and accommodating her for so many years. Whenever we had a quarrel, regardless of who was right or wrong, I was the first to bow my head. Whenever there was a conflict, regardless of who was in the right, I was the first to make concessions. Sophia's best friend once jokingly said enviously, "Sophia, I'm so envious that you have such a devoted husband." But Sophia just pursed her lips and said, "He's just a wimp." I thought there was no right or wrong in a relationship. As a man, it didn't matter if I gave in a bit and seemed wimpy, as long as the marriage and the relationship were harmonious. These were all minor issues, but I didn't expect that my continuous concessions would make her push her luck and take it for granted. I sighed deeply and exhaled a puff of smoke. At this time, I noticed that Oscar had updated a WeChat Moments post. Oscar was my wife's first love and also our classmate. He posted a picture of himself lying in the hospital bed and captioned it, "At the end of my life, I finally understand the true meaning of love. I bullied you back then because I liked you. Please forgive my immaturity back then and my recklessness now." In the photo, he was covered with tubes. His face was pale, and he was as thin as a rake. Paired with this rather sentimental, he really looked a bit pitiful, and my wife replied, "You're such a fool. Why didn't you let me know until now?" Crying bully, I sneered. It was essentially bullying. I remembered those incidents, one after another, even more clearly than Sophia did. In high school, Oscar teamed up with other hooligans to tear her clothes in the classroom on the anniversary of her mother's death. They sang Good Days and tore up her college entrance examination admission ticket so that she couldn't take the exam. I always thought that I had helped Sophia get out of the abyss of suffering. The fights I fought for her and the injuries I suffered were the proof of our love. In the end, it turned out that the abyss of suffering was the tears Sophia shed for Oscar. She was indulging in it and enjoying it. The two of them were pouring out their hearts to each other on social media, as if no one else was around. A mutual friend took screenshots and sent them to me, asking me what was going on. I was too lazy to reply one by one, so I directly commented under Oscar's post, "Congratulations, congratulations, congratulations to you two for finally getting together. If you don't want to be a mistress, please ask her to find time to get a divorce." Finally, everyone tacitly stopped asking me. I was just about to turn off my phone and stop paying attention when my mother called. "Son, am I disturbing you?" my mother asked cautiously, with a touch of flattery. Suddenly, I thought of my mother's slightly hunched figure and her slow movements. Instantly, I felt a bit sad. Mom had no choice but to call. "You see, this time your father's medical expenses haven't been paid for several months. Son, have you encountered any difficulties recently? I haven't had the nerve to ask you for money these past few months, but Mom really can't hold on anymore." As soon as my mother finished speaking, it felt like my blood had frozen. I had a fixed deposit in the bank and would send medical expenses to my mother regularly every month. The fact that it hadn't been sent for several months could only mean that someone had touched my money. She deceived my feelings and also cheated me out of my money. Over the years, I had become a joke. It seemed that all the blood in my body was boiling. I was just about to call Sophia when she called me. After answering the call, she immediately launched a barrage of accusations. "Thomas, are you crazy? Are you only happy when you ruin me?" She was really good at making false accusations. Before I could say anything, however, I was in no mood to care about her nonsense at the moment and asked harshly, What did you do with that money? Sophia, on the other end of the phone, didn't react for a while because it was the first time I had spoken to her in such a tone. What's your money? It's our money, Thomas. Now that you have a little bit of money, you dare to talk back to me, right? I lent it to Oscar to treat his illness. It's the money for his life. What are you fussing about? Sophie, I hadn't worked since graduation. I had been shouldering the family's expenses all along, and I was the only one with an income source. I didn't expect that she could go to such lengths for Oscar, knowing full well that it was the money I had saved for my parents' medical treatment. She still dared to touch it. I said disappointedly, Sophia, isn't my father sick? Sophia said, righteously, how many years has your father been sick? If it could be cured, it would have been cured long ago. Oscar's illness is life-threatening. Can't you tell which is more serious? Hearing her words, my heart felt as if it was being sliced by 1,000 knives. Sophia, listen to me. I don't care whether Oscar dies today or tomorrow, but if you don't, return the money that I saved in the bank for my father's medical treatment today. I'll make sure Oscar dies right away. You can try me if you don't believe it. As soon as these words were spoken, there was dead silence. After a long while, Sophia said slowly, Thomas, I never realized you were so cold-blooded before. I sneered, aren't you cold-blooded? Why don't you give him your own money? Or why don't you leave the house empty-handed to prove your unwavering love? Do you dare? Sophia fell silent. Soon after, the sound of sobbing came through the phone. Then Oscar's weak voice came from the phone. Sophia, don't be fooled by him. I'm not worth you doing all this for me. No, you are what a great love. Fine, I'll leave the house empty-handed. Do you think I'm afraid of you? Okay, we'll go to handle the divorce tomorrow. Don't be late. I didn't want to waste any more words with her and hung up the phone. That night, when I got home, I received an anonymous picture on my mobile phone. In the picture was Sophia's figure under the dim light of the hospital. Sophia's hair was messy, and she was holding a urinal in her hand, looking busy and tired. There was no need to guess who sent this picture. Right after the picture, a message came. It took you a lot of effort to chase her back then. Now, even though I'm lying in the hospital bed, with just a beckoning gesture, she'll still take care of me like this. It wasn't that I couldn't chase her back then. I just got tired of playing with her and gave her to you as charity. During the years with Sophia, I hadn't been willing to let her worry about these things. I packed up the work materials for her. Every day, I cut up the fruits for her to eat every day, and even removed the white threads on the oranges for her. But she didn't take any of these things I did seriously. You're just doing some useless little things. She commented like that. Now, instead, she was eager to be a servant for someone else. I closed my eyes and felt that my heart had gone numb. The most important thing at present was my father's medical expenses. Sophia might not be willing to return the money. Where could I get so much money? I sent a message to my boss wanting to ask for an advance on my salary. The boss immediately forwarded my message to the work group. Some people should know their place. Immediately after that, there were people following suit and criticizing me one after another. Ugly, but with wild dreams, not doing much work, but getting a lot of money, just making up the numbers. Back then, for Sophia's sake, I chose this startup company and built the underlying framework of the core project all by myself. Later, as more new people joined, I was gradually marginalized. Now that I thought about it, there was nothing worth lingering on in this place. I promptly resigned and sorted out the evidence of the leader taking kickbacks on projects and threw it into the group. As for how chaotic the company would become, it was none of my business. However, I had to figure out another way to get the money. I couldn't stay in this company any longer. I turned on my computer and started to update my resume. My target was a top multinational company. Back then, I was reluctant to leave Sophia and turned down many good job offers, choosing to stay by her side. Now, when I thought about it, it really wasn't worth it. Not long after I sent out my resume, I received a call. Thomas, you finally remembered to leave that lousy place of yours and are willing to venture out. Weren't you a henpecked husband? On the other end of the phone, a familiar voice came. It was my college roommate, Julian. It turned out that he was the project leader in that company. Back when I was with Sophia, my friend Julian didn't think highly of our relationship. Even when I gave up the offers from big companies for Sophia's sake, he punched me in frustration and said, Thomas, you'll die in the hands of a woman, sooner or later. Now his words had come true. Based on my understanding of him, I shamelessly brought up the matter of throwing money with him. On the other end of the phone, Julian immediately said, bank card number. I wasn't sure and asked in confusion. He repeated, give me your bank card number. I'll transfer the money to you right away. Don't worry about paying it back. I felt a warmth in my heart. Only when people encounter certain things can they tell who the right ones are. I briefly told my friend about my recent situation. He didn't mock me like before. He just sincerely said, Thomas, you finally opened your eyes. It's not too late for everything. Yes, it's not too late. After hanging up the phone, I immediately transferred the money to my mother without telling her about the annoying things between Sophia and me. The next day, at the entrance of the Civil Affairs Bureau, I saw Sophia. As I expected, since we're here, let's draw up the property agreement first. Sophia seemed a bit evasive. After hesitating for a while, she finally said, Thomas, if you apologize, I'll forgive you. We can just let this go. Otherwise, it won't do anyone any good if it gets out of hand. I sneered, why should I apologize? Stop talking nonsense and sign it quickly. Okay, I'm sorry. Do you have to push me to this point? I threw the property agreement in front of her, said disdainfully, your apology is worthless. Why didn't you do this earlier? Sign it quickly, finish signing it, and go reunite with your lover. Sophia's eyes were filled with tears. Thomas, I know you're still angry and just saying angry words now. Our relationship over the years can't just end like this. Oscar is sick and doesn't have much time left. I just wanted to help him fulfill his wish and not let him have any regrets. I waved my hand indifferently. After the divorce, you can have no regrets with whoever you want. It's your freedom. Sophia finally signed her name on the contract reluctantly. Thomas, I know you're angry now. Why are you arguing with a dying person? Just use the divorce cooling off period to adjust your mindset. I was too lazy to say anything more to her. After she signed it, I immediately packed up the contract and left the scene. As a result, Sophia sent a message that night. Why aren't you at home? When will you be back? I had been living outside for over half a month, and only now did she realize that I wasn't at home. It could be seen how little she usually cared about me. Just when I was enjoying this hard-won single life. A few weeks later, I was summoned to the hospital by a call from the doctor. Since we were still in the divorce cooling-off period and I was still her legal husband for the time being, I was still listed as the emergency contact. But as soon as I walked through the door, two people promptly knelt down in front of me. They were Oscar's parents. The two of them immediately burst into tears. Thomas, you're a good man. Please do us a favor. Oscar is our only child. Please be magnanimous. I didn't expect that Sophia had tricked me into coming to the hospital for this. Seeing that I didn't respond, Oscar's parents immediately intensified their pleas. You're in good health now. You can have as many children as you want in the future. You can't let our family line die out. Don't be too selfish, young man. Before I could say a word, Sophia fainted to the ground. Everyone hurriedly carried her into the emergency room. After an examination, it turned out that she was actually pregnant again. Now that I was no longer obligated to play the role of a good husband, I directly informed her parents to come to the hospital. When my father-in-law learned that Sophia was pregnant, without saying a word, he slapped me. Half of my face immediately turned red. Thomas, you're such a scumbag. You got my daughter pregnant right after she had an abortion. I shouldn't have let her marry you. My father-in-law pointed at my nose and scolded me. Amid his astonished expression, I slapped him back. Thomas, in the past, for Sophia's sake, I respected this gambling, addicted scumbag. Now that we were divorced, I finally didn't have to endure it anymore. If you're being unreasonable, I know a thing or two about fighting too. Why don't you first ask your daughter whose child she's carrying in her belly? Sophia and I asked, what does he mean? However, Sophia looked at me with a wrong expression. Thomas, are you satisfied only when you drive me to death? Hearing this, Oscar's mother quickly said, Sophia, don't get too worked up and harm the fetus. Only then did my father-in-law notice the two strangers beside the hospital bed and asked, who are they? Sophia said impatiently, Dad, just don't ask. As soon as she finished speaking, Oscar's parents knelt down again. Relatives by marriage, please don't make things difficult for Sophia. Oscar's parents explained the whole story. My father-in-law was so angry that he was fuming. I thought he had a change of heart and was going to uphold justice for me. But instead, he said, just tell me straight. How much money will you give my daughter for having a child for you? Sure enough, he never failed to disappoint me. I was too lazy to watch this farce any longer and directly said to Sophia, come to the Civil Affairs Bureau on time to handle the remaining procedures after the cooling-off period ends. Then I quickly left the hospital and blocked Sophia's number on my way out. After I got home, Julian told me that the company's senior management was quite satisfied with my technical background and asked me to start work as soon as possible. After finalizing the job, I went home to visit my parents and told them about the new job. My father had been taking medicine for years and didn't have much energy. When I mentioned that I was going abroad for career development, I thought they would oppose it. If my parents didn't agree, I thought I would seriously consider it. However, unexpectedly, they were both very supportive. Our son is promising. A man should aim high. Don't worry, your parents are still in good health. Don't worry about us. I held back the sourness in my nose. 2 days later, I left home again. Before leaving, I planned to get together with some friends. I invited them to go fishing to relax. Old Jan, a fishing buddy of mine, asked me, I'm bringing a new friend today, a beginner. Do you mind? I spat and said, why? Is your new friend going to eat people? Old Jan laughed and cursed at me, then went to pack up the fishing gear. I love fishing the most. Fishing is one of the few ways for me to relieve stress under the huge work pressure, but Sophia was very much against it. Every time she saw me take out the fishing rod, she would fly into a rage. What are you going to do with that shabby fishing rod again? What's the difference between you carrying a fishing rod every day and a good-for-nothing loafer? She wouldn't be satisfied even if I reported my whereabouts to her in real time. In the end, she broke all my fishing rods in half. I'll make you fish, I'll make you fish. Now I set up the fishing rod on the riverbank and was enjoying the time, leisurely. The new friend that old Jan brought was a rather pretty girl. I smiled and teased him. Old Jan quickly waved his hand. Don't misunderstand. She's our boss's daughter and is also interested in fishing. Since you're an expert, I'll leave her in your care. The girl wasn't shy at all and greeted me familiarly. Master, my name is Mia. I patiently taught her how to choose the fishing spot, spread bait, cast the line, and lift the rod. At that moment, a strange phone number called. I answered it, and it was Sophia. Did you block me? Then why are you still calling? I had no patience left for her and hung up the phone. But she seemed unwilling to give up and kept calling me one after another. Mia teased me beside me. Master, are you a playboy? I replied angrily. I'm the one being played by others. On Mia's pretty face, there was a look full of curiosity. Helplessly, I had to answer the phone. Honey, where are you now? When will you be back? This was really unexpected. In the past, Sophia would never take the initiative to care about these things of mine because I had always come home on time. Even when I went fishing, it was the same. I found it a bit funny. Sophia, I need to remind you that we're already divorced. I can go wherever I want. It's none of your business. After saying that, I turned off my phone. But a few hours later, Sophia still showed up in front of me. It wasn't that surprising. Through the WeChat moments of my buddies around, she always had a way to find me. However, she didn't look too good. At this moment, she forced herself to suppress her disgust and anger and said in a friendly manner, "Let's go home." Okay, if it were in the past, I would surely have packed up my things happily and followed her home. But now, I just found her annoying. I can fish for as long as I like. It has nothing to do with you, right? Sophia pursed her lips tightly and didn't say a word. Instead, she directly found a big rock beside me and sat down, looking as if she was determined to stay with me until the end. Mia still had a curious look on her face and nudged me. Your wife seems to be starting to understand you and has become sensible. Just ignore her. She can stay wherever she likes as long as she doesn't get in our way. On a sweltering summer day, Sophia was standing beside us in the scorching sun, watching us fish. Honey, are you hot? Here's some ice water I bought. Sophia's face was flushed from the sun, and she reached out to hand me the water. I ignored her. She just stood there awkwardly all by herself. Old Jean beside me took the water with an embarrassed smile and said, "Your wife is really considerate." Seeing her pretentious look, I finally couldn't bear it anymore and said, "You cheated on me. What's the point of pretending to be virtuous here?" Perhaps the information was too shocking. Everyone felt that the atmosphere was off, so they all left one after another. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw that everyone had a sympathetic look on their faces, including Mia, who had just teased me about being a playboy. I also felt more and more bored and started packing up my things to go home. Honey, let me help. You carry them. Sophia took the initiative to come forward. No, don't bother. Don't you feel tired pretending like this? You're wanting everything now. It makes me feel sick. Sophia held back her tears. Oscar is seriously ill. I just don't want him to have any regrets. Is that too much? Why can't you be more tolerant? I don't want him to have regrets. What about the regrets between us? What about our child? What did the child do wrong? Sophia had difficulty getting pregnant. I once comforted her that if we didn't have a child, we could just enjoy our life as a couple. But Sophia said she wanted a child of her own, so I traveled all over the country looking for famous doctors everywhere. Finally, she got pregnant, but she had it aborted so sometimes when people get something too easily, they don't cherish it much. Come on, time on the day when the divorce cooling off period ends. Otherwise, I'll see you in court. I won't allow it. Don't even think about it. Sophia was crying pitifully, but now I just thought she was hypocritical. I promise I won't interfere in your affairs anymore and won't be so headstrong. Can we make up? Sophia, I'm extremely disappointed in you. When I got home, my father-in-law sent me a video. It was posted by Oscar's parents on WeChat Moments. In the video, Sophia was bending over to wipe Oscar's body. In the 10 years of our marriage, she had never been so considerate to me. My father still had his usual preaching tone. Thomas, it's because you're incompetent that Sophia can't forget her first love. Look for your own reasons. I immediately sent him a picture of my mother-in-law with male models outside and replied, "Your wife is looking for male models at her age. Could it be that she just likes to play mother to others?" After saying that, regardless of his fury, I blocked him directly. Finally, the divorce cooling off period ended. In front of the Civil Affairs Bureau, Sophia looked hesitant. Thomas, it was just a stopgap measure. Oscar said he didn't want to be alone. Could you wait for me? When Oscar passes away, I'll get back together with you. I don't have time to play this tragic love drama with you. Hurry up and sign. After saying that, still feeling angry, I added, stop dawdling. Oscar doesn't have much time left. Sophia finally signed the divorce papers with an unhappy look on her face. In the end, for the property, I got 70% and she got 30%, and we each got half of the house. The fixed deposit I saved for my father was also returned to me. Finally, we got the divorce certificate. I felt a huge sense of relief. Less than an hour after our divorce, she posted an update on her WeChat moments. I'll love you with the rest of my life. The picture attached was their marriage certificate. Many people sent their blessings, and many mutual friends between us expressed doubts. Isn't this the person who bullied you back then? Are you crazy? Wasn't Thomas good to you? I think you're really out of your mind. Back in high school, Oscar was a good-for-nothing and often provoked Sophia, who was a good student. On the anniversary of Sophia's mother's death, several hooligans gathered around him, singing good days with big smiles on their faces. Sophia sat in the middle of the crowd, holding back her tears. I couldn't stand it and stood up for her. Oscar left an eternal scar on my forehead with a knife. It was precisely this scar that made me miss the chance to enter the military academy I had dreamed of. After that, Sophia even sent ointment to Oscar. I always thought she was helping me deal with the aftermath and resolving the conflicts between me and him. Now that I think about it, she was just seizing the opportunity to show off in front of Oscar. Deep down, she liked Oscar's bullying. For her, who lacked love, that was also a kind of distorted attention. Unfortunately, I became a part of their game. I soon started working at the new overseas company. I didn't expect that the world was really such a small place. I actually ran into Mia here. Mia wasn't surprised at all. Master, didn't old Jan tell you we're in the same line of work? Everyone is striving to move up. It's not strange to meet here, she said. I asked in confusion, you didn't inherit your father's business. Mia waved her hand. Don't worry, my father is in good health and won't die anytime soon. She smoothed the loose hair beside her ear and said shyly, if I can't make it outside, I'll go back home to inherit the family business. I sneered and couldn't be bothered to pay attention to her, but Mia kept following me persistently. Master, master, I could only say helplessly, don't call me that randomly. We're both new here. Mia blinked playfully. I'll just call you Master. Let's go fishing when we're free. Okay, I replied. With her chatter in my ear, Mia and I became colleagues like this. Since I had the title of Master, I often took care of her at work. Colleagues always teased me about it, and I was quite helpless. She's my apprentice. It's only right to take care of her a bit. She's just a young girl. Later, as people teased us more often, Mia also, half jokingly and half seriously, said, he's my master. What's wrong with him taking care of me? At this time, everyone would cheer even more merrily, and Mia would unconsciously blush. My friend Julian also took time out of his busy schedule to add fuel to the fire. Are you sure you're being a master, not a husband? Seeing that everyone was getting more and more outrageous, I quickly stood up to defend her. Mia, however, glanced at me and whispered, husband is fine. Don't you like me? This question stunned me, but I quickly reacted, looked straight into Mia's eyes, and memories of her flashed through my mind. The amazement when we first met. The mutual support in a foreign land. Finally, I couldn't help laughing and said, of course, I like you. Mia and I naturally got together. Later, I also heard some news about Sophia from time to time. I heard that she became somewhat famous on the internet because she took care of her husband, who was in the terminal stage of cancer, and even wanted to give birth to a child for him. The internet hailed her as the best woman in the world. She also often did live broadcasts to raise money for her husband's medical treatment. However, during one live broadcast, Oscar's mother said pitifully, she's become wild-hearted now. She doesn't bring the money she earns back home. My son doesn't even have money for medical treatment now. It turned out that Oscar's mother wanted Sophia to give her son the gold injections that cost 10,000 yuan each. It was said that these gold injections were life-prolonging injections and had to be taken every day. But how could Sophia have so much money? Let him die naturally, she said. Oscar's mother wouldn't let it go and widely publicized on the internet the idea that Sophia wanted her son to die. A bunch of people flocked to Sophia's comment section to hurl abuse. I was really blind to have misjudged you. You're just a underscore who's only after money. You won't save someone's life even when you can. Don't you know she had an ex-husband before? She aborted her ex-husband's child and got together with this cancer-stricken man. Really? Is it true? Is the gossip reliable? I have to say that netizens are really powerful. They quickly dug out my social media account. Damn, he's so handsome and can make money. I don't know what Sophia was thinking. I heard that her ex-husband doted on her so much. but she insisted on aborting her ex-husband's child and getting together with Oscar. I heard that Oscar was the one who bullied her before. Damn, does Sophia have Stockholm Syndrome or something? Soon, my social media account was thoroughly dug up. Many people sent me private messages saying that they wanted to marry me and have children with me. Among them was Sophia's private message. Thomas, is it really you? Where have you gone? I've been unable to find you. Come back, I'm willing to start over with you. Oscar has been treating me terribly. He just treats me as a free caregiver and, a womb. Thomas, I miss you. People often don't cherish something until they truly lose it. Without hesitation, and after getting Mia's permission, I posted a photo of Mia and me on social media and captioned it. This puppy already has an owner. Wow, what a handsome guy and a beautiful girl. So jealous. A beauty should be with a handsome guy. Not only are they a handsome and beautiful couple, but they're also rich. I'm really going to lose it. God. Putting down my phone, I turned around and kissed Mia. Fortunately, someone was willing to wait for me. Sophia's child was born, but it was said to be an AIDS baby. Old Gene told me that Sophia was crying in the live broadcast. He had AIDS. He infected me and also the baby. I've been working like a slave for his family, and I'm still being abused by netizens, and now I've got this disease. I'm really suffering. However, Oscar's father and mother didn't admit it. My son was clean. It must be you who was promiscuous outside and caught the disease. But she chose her own path. Instead of sympathizing with them, netizens even mockingly called them the AIDS couple. It's just a pity for the child. Soon after repeated tortures from the illness, Oscar finally passed away, but no one dared to attend the funeral held by his family. She could only shoot some vlogs about daily life and do live broadcasts to make a living, but the money she earned was quickly spent on AIDS medications. The money she got from the divorce was either spent on Oscar or taken away by Oscar's father and mother. Mia and I soon held a makeup wedding in China. Julin, as the witness, was even happier than I. You finally look like a real man now. I really couldn't stand your wimpy look back then. Mia and I soon had a child too. It was a lively and healthy little princess. Our whole family doted on her with all our hearts. I secretly vowed that I couldn't let her be cheated away by some rascal in the future. I will surely give her lots and lots of love and won't let her be tricked away by others with just a piece of candy. However, due to the change in the weather, the child caught a cold and had a fever. Mia and I were so nervous that we were in a flurry. It's my fault. I must not have closed the window tightly last night, Mia said with some self-blame. It's not your fault. It's normal for children to get sick or injured. I comforted Mia. But at a corner, a familiar figure came into view. It was Sophia. At this moment, her mother-in-law was shouting abuse at her. You shameless loser. You gave birth to another. Little loser. You're spending my son's money on these immoral medications every day. Why don't you just go and die? Sophia, who was following behind, was carrying big and small bags. She looked more than 10 years older. Her clothes were wrinkled, and her hair was messy. She meekly followed behind Oscar's mother, with a 2- or 3-year-old child in her arms. The moment Sophia saw me, her eyes lit up. She rushed to me in 2 or 3 steps, and knelt down. Husband, it's me. I'm Sophia. Look at me. Let's make up. Don't be angry anymore. I know I was wrong. Come back. Her loud cries made passersby in the hospital turn their heads one after another. But I immediately shielded Mia and the child in front of me, fearing that Sophia would do something extreme. After seeing my action, she was stunned at first, and then glared at Mia with resentment. It's you, the mistress, who destroyed my family. I'll kill you. I was quick and pushed Sophia to the ground with one palm. I wouldn't give her any chance to get close to the people I cared about. Sophia, I advise you to wake up. It's over between us long ago. You chose your own path. Don't come to disturb the life of me and my lover anymore. If they get hurt, I'll fight you to the death. Sophia slumped on the ground, constantly mumbling something about love. Suddenly, she burst into tears. I didn't have time to continue watching her performance. I quickly changed to another hospital to take the child to see a doctor. Fortunately, everything ended without a hitch in the end. After this incident, we moved. I moved to another city to live. I also completely updated all my contact information. I heard that Sophia was finally sent to a mental hospital because of mental problems, but it's none of my business anymore. The most important thing for me now is to manage my family of 3 well. I turned around and looked at my daughter with food smeared all over her face like a little cat, and a sweet feeling welled up in my heart. Daddy, I want to eat this. Sure, little princess. Daddy will buy it for you right away.